a book that's written by this professor whose talks I've listened to quite a bit over the last few years, called Professor Youval Noah Harari.
Oh
I don't know if you've heard of him.
Wait. Oh my God. Let me get some paper. Oh. I'll get the letterboards as well. Look, I'm not ready. I didn't think you were going to come so soon. Right. So, the book was by Professor
Youval Noah Harari.
Oh my God. Spell it out.
Youval is Y-U-V-A-L.
Y-U-V-A-L. Yeah.
Noah, N-O-A-H.
Yeah.
And Hariri is H-A-R-A-R-I.
Right, okay. H-A-R-A-R-I. We'll just check and see how your pointing's going today, Chris. So we'll just, for practice, we'll try that HARARI, because that will give us some nice movement up and down the board. Ooh, let's try it. Try HARARI. H-A-R, and then up to the A again. A-R, and finish it with the I. Very good. Yes, HARARI. Professor Youval Noah Harari. Well, this is going to be interesting. I've never heard of him before either.
Okay, so how I first came across this guy was he wrote a book called Sapiens.
Oh, yeah. I hate that book. I know you love it. I hate it.
I love the book. So the basic premise of this book, and we won't get into that book. We're going to talk about 21 lessons for the 21st century, which is more about the future. But the basic premise of that book, Chris, was that like most animals are hardwired. You know, they're born into the world hardwired, and the amount of learning that they do in their life is not that great. A lot of their behavior is quite instinctual, it's repetitive, and it's copied, right?
Okay, let's just practice. We're just because we'll get a warmed up, we'll just do hardwired. H-A-R-D-W-I. Come on, after the I, this is lovely. R-E and D. I'm hardwired with me. Hardwired with me. R. Yeah, come on, keep it going. R. I. Go on. G. I. D. Rigid. Yeah, I suppose that's a good way of describing hardwired. It's kind of rigid, it's fixed. Like Sean said, it's kind of instinctual and it doesn't change.
Whereas Homo sapiens, or human beings, you know, he describes us as sort of basically being able to upload much more software. And so we're much more adaptable and flexible simply because we can make myths and tell stories that large numbers of people can believe in and therefore cooperate around.
So we're more adaptable. Why? Y. Okay, we can make MY, T, H. Come on, keep going. We can make MY, T, H. Did we do the H? I can't remember. We did the MYT anyway. There. After the T, do the T at T, H, S. We can make myths. O, A, N, D, and S, T, O, R, I, E, Myths and stories, yeah. Now, tell me one thing about a myth. One thing about a myth. It it is. NOT, it is not. T, go on. T, it is not. T, R, U, it is not true. And could you tell me, just for the sake of it, the name that's given to myths that are specially created for children? You remember what they are? F, A, B, L, E, S. Oh, sorry, I didn't put that on silent. Fables, yeah. Myths for children are called fables, and there's all those famous Aesop's fables, isn't it? Now, that's just an impulse. The impulse has taken you up. Now you're going to go back down again. Take you back down again. Good.
Okay, so one of those stories that, you know, thousands or even millions of people believe in is, for example, England. You know, so England, if you're an alien from another planet, is just another piece of land, you know. So the fact that it's a unique country with a whole identity, that's a story. Another example of a story might be capitalism, and, you know, having a capitalist society where businesses sell and produce goods depending upon, you know, how much people might demand them or want them or pay for them, versus communism. That's much more, it's a story about planning things out and trying to have everybody sort of maybe forced into a little more roles. So what would be another kind of a big story that humanity uses that influences people's behaviors? What do you think, Chris?
So that was 2 examples. Could you think of another example of a big story that influences people's behaviours? So, not, go on. A, T, hat, T, H, not healthy. O, go on, keep it going. It's fine. Good response. E, go on. After the E, finish the word. Go on, go on. It's obvious what it is. Not at the M-O-N. Now do the E again. E, N. Not at the moment.
Okay, cool. Another example might be Christianity, or any religion, which is a story that all, you know, big groups of people follow, and it influences their behavior. So unlike other animals, the stories or the myths, they kind of update our software, and they really influence how we behave as big groups. And we can change that over time, you know, so we don't have the same religions as the Greeks had, for example. We don't sacrifice babies, or we don't sacrifice people like the Incas did, because we've got an updated software system or updated stories. So transitioning now
Hang on.
Yeah.
Anything to say? Move, just sit so you're properly on your tray. You just at a funny angle there. That's better. Then you'll be more accurate in your pointing. What do you think about that? Go on then. I, H, A, D, N, T. I hadn't. Keep it going. I hadn't. Do you want to use a pencil? I haven't. T, H O U G H. Go on. T. I hadn't thought. A. B. After the B. Next letter, next letter, next letter. O. Next letter, straight to it. U. Go on, after the U. Straight, just think, what's the next letter? I hadn't thought about. Go on. Write that one down. I hadn't thought about. Oh, just tell me a song. That's it. Look, you sorted it. That hand didn't need to be there, did it? I hadn't thought about. T H A. Go on, after the A. That. A. After the A. S. P. Where are we going? D or E? E. Go on then. After the E. Straight to it. You look like you were there round about the B or C and T. I haven't thought about that aspect. That aspect of religion. Gone up, and now you're going to come back down again. Let's listen. Good. Yeah.
So now in his new book, or his more recent book, which is 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, he starts out talking about how one of the massive changes in this century is the amount of data and information that's available to mankind.
Okay.
Pretty
amount of data available. So which century are we talking about now? 21st, yeah. Okay. And he's talking about the amount of data available. Where does all this data come from? How come we've got more data? How could you access data? Give me an example. F R O from T. Go on, straight to it, push. H. Use the pencil if you want. H. From the I N T. Yeah, you're right. E R N E. From the internet. There's just loads of information on the internet, isn't there, that we can access, and it's so easy now. Go on, Sean.
So one of the points he makes about this is that it can lead to information overload.
Right.
And he shares, and this sort of relates to what I mentioned earlier, that humans think in stories rather than in facts and numbers or equations. And that's why oftentimes when you get people to really change their behaviors, it's less about the facts and the numbers and more about the story.
Okay, we're just going to take a little break because Chris needs the toilet. I'll pause. Okay, well then go and have a quick wait. Sorry, Sean, you just chugged down that bottle of water, so I might go and get him another one actually, because sometimes he does drink quite a bit. Is that okay, the way I'm just kind of interjecting and it's not throwing you off too much?
Not at all, no, it's great. Please feel free.
It's just keeping that sort of two-way,
yes,
interaction. But with Chris, what I'm trying to do is or, you know, yeah, at the very start, I'll try and just get him to repeat some of the facts. So it's like a bit of a teach us, just so I can see how his pointing's doing. But with him, I very quickly want to move on to something that is going to keep him more engaged. So he knows he's not just regurgitating what we've just said, but that he's just expressing something a little bit differently. So, you know, you mentioned lots of data available. I'm not just going to say, so what did we say? Oh, there's lots of data available. I say, well, how come? Where do you find all this data?
I like that. Yeah.
I'm just going to get you some more water, and then we'll come straight back. Come back here, it's easier. There. Come on, it's easier when you sit here for me. Come on, I'm easy. I can write it all down nice and easily. That's good, thanks. Hold on. There. Good. Very nice. Very good. So we were just talking about all of this amount of data that's available and how this author says that there's an information overload. And actually we think in stories rather than all of these facts.
Yeah. So even though there's all this data and information, for example, about healthy living and exercise, actually what motivates most people is if they have a story about somebody who's transformed themselves, and that then often might inspire another person to take the action, more so than the data.
Anything to say? I-A-G. R-E. I agree. I agree. Okay. Any more? Just I agree, or did you want to say some more? H. Try with the pencil again. E. A. R. I. N. G. Hearing. A. B. Come on then. N or O? N or O? Tell yourself what's the next letter. N or O? O. Okay. U. Keep it going. Come on, next letter. After the U, next letter. Hearing about. Hearing about. I agree. About. Go. Hearing about. P. E. After the E, go straight to it. Go, go, go. Touch the E again. Go on. E. Next letter. Go on. Go, 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 go. O. P. L. Hearing about people. W. Go on. Keep it going. After the W. Go on. H. Next letter, next letter. Go for the next letter. Go on, you were just one off there, I could tell. Who? Hearing about people. Who? Come on, you can do it. Keep that elbow lifted. H. A. Lovely. Go on. Touch it. Push. Push, push, push. Go on. Sure, you're down there. B. Just for practice, go A to B. A. Now straight to B. B. And up to the E. Do that again. H. A. B. People who have hearing about, I agree, hearing about people who have own the, oh, you've got to lift that elbow. E R C O M, who have overcome, hearing about people who have overcome. We just do one word at a time if we have to, that's all right. C H A L L. Come on, push. I'll hold it up. E. Go on after the E. N. G. O. E. And after the E. Go on, go for it. Your hand is frozen. Go for it, Chris. Touch the E again. E. And hearing about people who have overcome challenges are moving. I. Go on. Go on. N. S. P. I. R. After the R, straight to it, straight to it. Go on, take that hand out. E, okay. Go on. Inspires me. Inspires me. Any more? Hearing about people who have overcome challenges. Inspires me. Come on. T. To. W. O. R. To work. H. A. Come on. After the A. R. D. E. Harder. I agree. Hearing about people who've overcome challenges inspires me to work harder. I'd agree with that as well, Chris. I find exactly the same. If sometimes if I'm having a bit of a tough day and I'm thinking, oh, life's bad, you know, there's too much to do, oh, I don't think I can cope with all of this. And sometimes you see someone else whose life is so much more challenging and you think, oh, flipping heck, pull yourself together, woman. You can do this. And it does, it inspires me too. Much more so than just reading a book saying, well, what you need to do is eat these vegetables and da-di-da-di-da and do yoga and you can change your life. When you actually see someone that's done it and they've like changed their body shape and they've just like totally transformed their life, that's the thing that has the impact, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And what Professor Harari says that I found quite striking and thought-provoking was that the simpler the story, the better. And this is a lesson that is useful, he says, for people in politics, business, and education. It's imperative, he thinks, that you make your story simple.
Oh,
and
what?
I was thinking about this.
Just for practice, the
Yep.
S, I, M. Come on, we just P, L, E. Oh, look, that was really good. You were fast there. The simpler the story. That was the key word there. The simpler the story, the more effective it is. I like that. So what's an example, Sean?
I have two examples. One, and we can have Chris answer this, or I can give the example. One example is Donald Trump and how he got elected.
Ooh.
He had a couple of very simple stories.
Right.
Would Chris like to take a guess at what one of those stories were that was kind of a Donald Trump story?
You want to take a guess? Sit yourself down.
A Donald Trump message?
A Donald Trump message. What? How did
Very repetitive with his messages.
How did he win the election? What sort of messages was he giving? Any ideas? Come on. Oh, I am. Go on. What did you say? I am what? We're just having a biscuit snack here. I am. Go on, keep it going. Donald Trump would say, finish it off. So guess elected. I am. O. N. Oh, I am one. O. O. I am one of. I am one of. Y. O. Keep it going. After the O. I am one of you. I suppose that was kind of a message. I am one of you.
Yeah. Yeah, for a whole segment of America, I think that's true, Chris. And it's kind of hilarious because he's a billionaire who was born into a family with a dad who had hundreds of millions, and he's got most of, sort of the red state America supporting him. So
yeah.
It made me think, because I don't like Donald Trump, and I thought, how could so many people vote for him? But the very simple messages that were very repetitive stories were: 1, make America great again. 2, build the wall.
Oh,
Keep
yeah.
out the Mexican rapists.
Do you know what? I've forgotten that one.
Yep. Crooked Hillary. So his opponent, there was a story about her that he kept repeating that she was just a crooked and a bad person. And fake news. So the mainstream media that didn't support him was fake news. He just kept repeating all those stories again and again. And enough people believed those stories to get him elected.
Mm-hmm. Which one of those do you think was the one which made most impact, Chris? C. R. Okay. O. Come on. O. K. E. D. Crooked. H. Go on, you know the word. I. L. L. A. Ooh. R. And after the R, touch the R again, you just frozen again. Go on, touch the R. R, and go on. Move that elbow, touch it. Why? Crooked Hillary. So you think the Crooked Hillary thing was the main vote winner? I wonder why that is. I wonder why you think that. Can you explain? P. E. O. P. L. People. D. I. Go on. The I. S. T. After the T. Lift your elbow. Lift your elbow, because when you lift that elbow, then you can move your arm round the board. The I-S. Go on. T. Lift that elbow. R. U S T E. People distrusted. They distrusted. Come on. People distrusted. Yeah, that one down. People distrusted. Try with the pencil again. Distrusted. P O L I T. Polly.
Okay.
Polly. I C I A N S. People distrusted politicians.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, the Clintons and everyone else, they'd all been in politics for so long, and here was someone new who hadn't actually been in politics. He was just going to ignore all the rules and and do what was right for the American people.
So these stories can be a force for good depending upon your perspective, or a force that isn't good. Like, so if we think about another sort of simple but powerful story, there's someone who I know you're inspired by, Chris, from reading one of your recent lesson plans, Nelson Mandela. What do you think was sort of a very straightforward story as far as what he believed in? It wasn't Make America Great Again or Crooked Hillary. What was Nelson Mandela's sort of main story that he was trying to get people to believe in?
Nelson Mandela, his story. E Q U. After the U. Yeah. A L. Go on, touch the other again. You're just hovering a bit. L. What? I. T. And after the T. Go straight forward, Chris. Come on. You're just getting a bit frozen. Touch the T again. T and touch Y. I'm sure it must be Y. Y. So go T, Y. T, Y. Do it again. T. Go on, push your finger. Push your finger down. Y. Equality.
Yes.
Equality. Yeah, we'll just for practice. Here we are. Let's just see how good this is doing. Okay, so Nelson Mandela was all about equality for everyone, you know, no matter what colour or race you were from. Let's just try and handwrite the word race. Equality for all races. Hand seems to be just getting a bit frozen as he's trying to point it, and I just thought I'd have a look and see how handwriting was going today. Okay, there you go. Let's have a go and see. We're just going to write the word race. So the R is down and around. Down. Oh, and you need to do the around bit as well. R. Now we're going to do an A. A circle and a line down. Go round. Oh, that's very good. Very good. And a line down as well. Press a little bit more. R, A, and then C, just like the start of your name. Oh, that was just a line. Make it a curly one. So we're going to go, remember that that's the C movement, but we're going to do it small. Oh, let's try again. C, and then we're going to do an E, so we're going to go across and around. Okay, we're going to go across and around. Okay, very nice. okay, just for something different. It's not very clear. There we go. There.
Cool. Okay, so now, Chris, I know you're writing a book on autism and you've shared videos that have inspired others. What would you say is the story or the main message that you're promoting around autism, and particularly autistic children and adults who are nonverbal?
There we are. There we go. Okay, so the main message from your book, the main story. What do you think? Two N E D E. Is that all? Touch it. You've got your hand resting there. N E B E. Where are we going? Never. To never. Come on. Gone up, then you're going to go down. Oh, we can have that. Yeah, we'll just do this first. Never. M A K. Never make. A S S U. Okay. Never make a sum. Okay, use that hand if you want. Two-handed. P T. P. Sorry, Chris. I'm going all over the place. I'm thinking. I was predicting the word that you were saying, so I'm going to say it because I was predicting it then. So I was thinking that you were going to put. You did the P. I was thinking you're going to say assumptions. So you can tell me, is that the word that you were going to say? Yes or no? What? You pointed to no and yes. So now I'm confused. Did you want to say the word assumptions? Never make assumptions. Is that correct? Why? Come on. E. Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. To never make, right, assumptions. To never make assumptions. Carry on then. A, B, O, U, about, come on, O, U, about R, I, N. Come on, this is good. I like it. I like it a lot. T, give the swipe there. Touch the T again. T, E, L, L, I. Come on. G. After the G. After the G. Yeah, we'll have that in a minute. Touch the G again. G. E. Go on. N. C. E. To never make assumptions about our intelligence. Go on. D. Go on. A. After the A. Next letter. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. S. Next letter. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go for it. After, touch the S again, because you've slowed down. Let's get a rhythm going. Go for the S. S. E. D. Based. O, N. Go on. After the N. Based on. Let me write that one down. To never make assumptions about our intelligence based, oh, thank you, on, come on, let's get this done. There you go. Based on, what is this? You were doing well. Based on W, H, A, T on what? W, E on what we see. A, go on. N, what we can. D, go on, after the D. What we can do, is that it? Oh, okay, P. This is good. H, come on. Y, go on, up to the Y. You're doing so hard, don't tell you hard. I'm going to point. I'm not going to waste that energy writing. P, H, Y, go on. S, go on, after the S. It's up to the S again. S. I, let me reposition. Come on. C, A, L, L, Y. Right. Based on, did you write that down, Sean?
Never make assumptions about our intelligence based on what we can do.
What we can do physically.
Physically.
Yeah. Physically. There we are. Woo, there we are.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point, isn't it? Because when people look at you, and you know, it might be that, oh, yeah, look, you know, you might struggle even to use your fingers, to use cutlery, to eat a chocolate mousse, which is what we're doing now. But that doesn't mean that you're not intelligent and capable of having really advanced thoughts. Sit yourself down.
Oh, that's an important and inspiring story. One of the things that also kind of struck me when I was thinking about this, Chris, was that I've always thought that the story continually has to evolve and add new levels to it. And while I think that's, you know, there's a place for that and that's useful, that sometimes when you're trying to change people's minds about something like Nelson Mandela was with equality, sometimes it's actually just the repetition of the message again and again, you know? So there's something really powerful about just saying that message and sharing that story, to never make assumptions about our intelligence based on what we can do physically, again and again in different settings, you know? So we're doing it here again in this video, and you know, in the different chapters in your book, you'll probably be sharing different examples of that. So that's quite cool. Ange teaches hot yoga, and yep.
Hang on. R, E, T, E, correct. T, I, O, and repetition. I, correct, is, repetition is, correct. A, L, S, A, L, S, also, E, very nice, this is nice, come on, E, F, Oh, excuse you. Come on. E, F, F, E, F, F. Come on. E, E, F, F, E. Don't try with drawing pencil. E, F, F, E, B or C? C. Go on then. Go on, push. S or T? Oh, hang on, that's a bit wobbly. Go for the E, F, F, and you did this E, C. Now what comes after the C? I'm just going to write that down. We'll do one letter at a time. Repetition is also, and you did E, F, F, E, C, and then you were going to go to the S, so that just wouldn't really make sense. So I don't know if you were just one off or if you changed your mind about what you wanted to say. So, going from also. Repetition is also, oh, you just heard Dad, yeah, he's probably just going to the toilet. Go on. Is also, where are we going? Oh yeah, E, so we are going there. F, F, E, go on. C, after the C, you're breaking up again there, go on. Oh yeah, T, I thought it might be. I, V. It's also effective. I. Yeah, go on. This makes sense. This is good. In. Go on. Tap, tap. P. After the P, next letter. Just tell yourself I'm going for the next letter. Go on. O. E. Go on. After the E. T. R. Go on. After the R. Touch the R again. R and let that elbow tuck down, lift it up. Poet, T-R-Y. Okay, yeah. Repetition is also effective in poetry.
Yes, very, very true. Absolutely.
Poetry and speeches, repetition is effective, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
Where you've got, I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of one now off the top of my head. An important, well-known speech where they use repetition to, or they use the same sort of format, don't they? You know, I have a dream.
Hey, I think of the same one.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Sit down, let's finish this up. And you know, you consider yourself, don't you, Chris, to be a good speechwriter? You use these techniques, so maybe we need to do some of this in your little book. Maybe one chapter could be a speech about.
So, Chris, I could continue with what I was going to share next about 21 lessons for the 21st century, or I could go off on a little bit of a tangent and read a poem that I just recently reread that is a really beautiful poem. Which would you prefer? Should we continue with 21 lessons for the 21st century? Continue with the book, or shall I do the tangent of the poem?
So we'll do book or poem? Poem. Chris always likes a good poem. Don't you? Yeah. You know what? We'll finish this, and then if you want to move, change positions, you can.
Okay, so this poem is by Mary Oliver. I don't know if you've ever come across her. So it starts, who made the world?
Okay.
Who made the swan
We're just
And
going
the
to
black
change
bear.
position, Sean. Just wait a minute. There.
Yep.
I wanted to change position. Right. Okay, you sit here then. That's where you showed me you wanted to go. There. That's it. There. Okay.
Okay. Who made the world?
Mhm.
Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? The grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass. The one who is eating sugar out of my hand. Who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down. Who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Mary Oliver.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts about that? Put your legs down so we can see. Put your legs down, otherwise like it's a bit hard for me, isn't it? There we are. Have you got any thoughts about that? I L I K. I like tea. Come on. I like tea. Okay, you're doing so well. I want to know what you think. Like tea. I like tea. Come on. Ooh, I like tea. T H I like this. I like this. Keep it going. Next word. Yeah, I like this. Come on. T Y P. I like this type. Come on. O of. I like this type of. Come on. I like this type of. P. I like this type of. P. Go on then. O. Come on. Use this hand. Lift the elbow. E. And don't waste your energy. P-O-E. Oh, don't use this. I like this type of poem. T. Yeah, go on. Which one? That one. That's good. Move your elbow. T. Where are we going? After the T, if you want to be. Lift your elbow. T. H. I like this type of poem. T. H. Come on. Keep it going. A. That. M. A. M-A. Go on. M-A. Okay. Lift that elbow. That's it. E. And after the E, your elbow. S. Okay. I like this type of poem. That makes. Try here. That makes. Y. Where? Lift your elbow. That was T. Y. Touch the Y again. Y. O. Thought that was probably what you wanted. Y. O. That's better if you sit forward. I think you'll find it easier. Go on. Y. O. That makes you good. That's a better position. Makes you what? R. Okay. E. F. L. Go on. You're there. Sit forward. R. E. F. Touch the L again just to get into the flow. L. E. C. T. O. N. That makes you reflect on. That was better. We got into a rhythm then. Let's get back into that rhythm. Makes you reflect on. Y. O. U. R. Come on. You're doing well. After the R, next word. Reflect on your. L. I. F. E. Okay. That makes you reflect on your life. I like this type of poem that makes you reflect on your life. What was it about the poem that you liked, Sean?
I love the evocative imagery, like just feeling so present in the moment in the field.
I think
Years ago, Chris, I was doing something called, it was called Liberated Qigong, right? And I was doing it in a field.
Ooh,
and when I was doing it, at one point, I was down on the ground and I looked over to one side and there was a grasshopper that was kind of balancing himself between a couple of blades of grass. And I turned my head and I looked at him, and I swear he turned his head and he looked at me. And I just felt like, it was a very strange moment. I felt like the two of us just were recognizing one another and paying attention to one another. It was like the world stopped for a moment. It was quite something.
T. H. A. T. I. F. That is F. So U. Go on. That is F. U. N. N. And that is funny.
Yes, it was funny. Surreal.
I think that's, of course, that's one of the. That's just an impulse. Just see, and it's past. See how good Chris is getting at controlling his impulses, Sean.
Really good.
We've been working on this, haven't we? And it, you know, sometimes it still happens. But look, it didn't last long at all, and it's all done and over. You're doing so well, so proud of that.
Really noticeable change.
Yeah, I was just saying that what I was going to say was that one of the qualities that humans have got, and we don't know whether anyone else has got, and other animals have got it, but I don't think that they have, is this ability to have mental images. You know, so you can read something and then you create this picture, an image in your mind. I wonder if any other animals do have that ability.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I've never thought of that.
thing. Go on then if you need another wee. Yeah. He's drank another bottle of water.
Oh, good for him.
Pause again.
He's well hydrated.
Yeah. Well, you know what he's like as well. Sometimes he just likes sometimes you just like.
Moment to share briefly what he's said about the 21st century in the realm of education, because I found it quite interesting thinking about Chris and his education.
Go on then, yeah, please do.
Okay. So the basic premise that he has is that no remaining human job will be safe from the threat of future automation, you know, whether that's over the next 10 years or the next 100 years, you know. And that basically the old production line school education is bankrupt. And what should we be teaching now is the 4 C's, and instead of, they used to say the 3 R's, Chris, of the reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the 4 C's are critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. And the advice he gives to a 15-year-old is, don't rely on adults too much. Most of them mean well, but they just don't understand the world. And, that learning to learn or self-learn is the most important skill you'll be relying on to reinvent yourself in the face of uncertainty and the unknowns leading into the middle of this century.
Anything to say about all of that? There's a lot there. If you put your leg down, it's going to be a bit easier. Go on, because it just gets in the way. F O fall M. Lift that elbow. For me. Come on, this is good. Want to hear? Oh, hey, look, you got that under control. That was good. For me. I T. Could be it, or it could be I something. Oh, let me just close this door over. For me, I-T-I. I-T-I, come on, this is good. I-T-I. Yeah, okay. It is A-L-L. Lift the elbow. Go on. Lift it. Keep it lifted. Then you can get more accurate. Lift the elbow up and put your finger down. And you get more accurate. For me, it is all. Go on. Go from the all. A. Where? B. Lovely. Up to the B. Come on. Go on. You're doing it so well. I'm so proud of you. For me, it is all. So you've done A, B. Here. Take this again. Let's get this done. Get your thoughts out. A, B, O, U, T. For me, it is all about. It is all about. Come on, we're getting to the crunch now. me, it is all about what? All about. Is that L? No? Okay. Accidental L, maybe. I don't know. Go on. It's all about. Touch the T in about and then carry on from there. That was the T. All about. F. 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 H wouldn't make sense. Is it the H or the I? I. Okay. Go on. Keep it going. Let's just get this done. FIND ING. All about finding. Okay. For me, it is all about finding. Okay, come on, let's see if we can get this bit finished. Lift your elbow though. Lift that elbow, Chris. When you're resting, you can't move. When you've got your elbow tucked in and you're resting your arm down, you can't move. You're like this and you can't move around the board. All about finding. O. U. Finding out. This is good. I like it. All about finding out. Come on, finding out. T. Go on, next letter. Go on, let's just do it. T. H. I've got a target of 1 minute to do this. 1 minute target. I. N. G. After the G. S. Okay. Finding out things. For me, this is all about finding out things. E. A. C. H. Each. D. Okay, come on. D. I see, so maybe you're just relating this to yourself personally, that's fine. Rather than a big grand thought. Each. D. A. D. A. You're going down to the bottom, I can see. Did you want the Y? You did touch it. D. A. Y. Finding out things each day. Finding out things each day. Come on, finish this off. Look, you're doing so well. Come on. For me, it's all about finding out things each day. Ooh. There, go on. Leg down, sit forward. Finding out things each day. T. Two. Okay. D. After the D. 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 E. Go on. Oh, that arm's so tired. Come on. Let's just finish it off. Finish it off. We can always try again later if you wanted to add any more. D. E. Go on. B. E. L. After the L. O. P. To develop. It's all about finding out things each day to develop. develop go on to develop go on use your finger now you see you're leaning again lift that elbow go on lift it up where are we touch the M again Y go on MY S E you went straight to the F there you want the L LF okay to develop myself okay Whew. For me it's just all about finding out things each day to develop myself so you've just broken it to a daily thing we'll just finish this off yeah and I think that you know you're quite right really in some ways you do have to sometimes just break things down and think right every day I'm going to work at developing myself and it's nice that you know I do kind of agree with what Sean was saying about you know we can be thinking each day about developing your skills in terms of you know your creativity your critical thinking your communication skills and how you learn thinking about how you know what different ways of learning and I agree we were talking about this before we started the session weren't we sure that just the absorption of all these facts and figures and things like that aren't as important as the development of the thinking skills.
Yes. Yeah. That's actually, yeah, that's very true. That's how we started.
Yeah. So we finished in the same way that we started. I'm just going to stop the recording now because I think that Chris has kind of finished his input here. Let me just stop that. Oh, yeah.